Hi there. I wanted to make this video straight away. This is a reaction video to my interview with Sovereign Pete that I put out yesterday. And I've made this video purposefully straight away without looking at any of the comments. I have not looked at the comments yet because I just wanted to give my own personal reaction to it without any influence of anyone else's thoughts. So I've listened back to the interview a couple of times now, and I wanted to give my feedback straight away while it's fresh in my mind. And I may do another video like this if there's a lot of comments and I need to answer those as well. But first of all, I must say a big thank you to Sovereign Pete. It's a big deal that he took the time to do this interview with me. He's a very busy guy doing some important work, so I'm very grateful. And you can see, if you watch the video, you can see why we need Sovereign Pete's input. We need that expertise in understanding of the legal system, the lawful system, and how the world works. It's a very complicated thing, the way the world is working at the moment. And if we're doing something like this project, which is a big deal, this project is big, then we need that advice. We need someone like Sovereign Pete, who I regard as one of the top experts in this field. We need his advice on that. Now, I should say, you see, this project that we're working on, Entify, is simple. It's very simple. It's three technologies that we're using together, and that's what makes it so clever. But because it's so simple, it's so powerful. It's so powerful we could do so many things with it. So many things. And I've got to assume that this project will go viral. It will get big. Because if it is what I think it is a solution for the whole world. It's a global solution, but it's a global decentralized solution. So I'm trying to think about the big picture. Where's this going? And I've got to think about it now before we get anywhere, so that we make sure we're going in the right direction if and when that happens. And I think it will be when. It has to happen now, because the technology is here. Whether we're the ones to do it or not, whether it happens in our lifetime or not is another thing. But I must assume that this will take off pretty quick. So I'm trying to look to the future, work out the whole strategy going off into the distance. And there's one more thing I didn't mention that makes this project so exciting, and I'll do a whole video on this soon. And this is the end goal. The end goal of the Entify project is, once we've got this digital network up and running, we've got a system of users that are guaranteed. They're authentic users because we've created this proof of life identity card. And because of that, we can now create a whole new type of blockchain. This is the real crux of the matter. And I haven't fully explained this potential yet. But because we've got a base of users that are authentic, we can use that base to create a whole new type of blockchain. And I'm calling this a proofless blockchain. So again, it requires some discussion. But there's big problems with blockchain now. There's limitations to what they can do. All of them. But because of this system, we've solved those limitations, or I believe we've solved them. We have yet to do it, because that, again, is a big deal to code our own blockchain from scratch. We'll need a team to do that at some point. But if we can create a whole new blockchain at a whole nother level, it changes the game again. Whole game changes. So that's the long-term goal. But how do we get there, and how do we organize this project step by step? So what can we make it do? What do we have to get this thing to do? So that's what this discussion with Sovereign Pete was all about. What do we do? How do we make this work? What's the plan? If we can work out a plan, then we can work out how to build this system to support the plan. So I learned a lot from that interview. A lot of stuff I learned from Sovereign Pete. So I listened to it over and over. I'm going to listen to it more. And a couple of very important things I've learned I want to share with you now, just from that interview. And the first one is this. So Sovereign Pete has really got a very good idea of the sovereign mentality. I talk about it on my channel, but I've got so much respect for this guy because he embodies that. He knows what it means to be sovereign, and he's done the study. He's studied the entire legal system, the lawful system. He knows how the whole thing works and how to put that into words in a clear way. So I've done that internally, And I'm at the moment, I'm in the point of trying to put it into words to explain my ideas about what it means to be sovereign. But of course, he's done that already, so I've got to listen to what he says about it. And what he was saying is essentially, that's it. If everyone is just a true sovereign, you don't need to do any more organisation. So I was still imagining that we've got to organise a structure. We've got to organise a council. So we need groups to organise the world, keep things going. And that's still a fallacy. That is still it's still an idea that we need some sort of government. Now, in my mind, the system can create an honest government, because the authenticity of the card guarantees people will be honest. You have to have, it will be incorruptible. But what Sovereign Pete was saying is you don't even need that. No, you don't even need any type of organised control, organised government at all. So that's a big difference to what I was thinking, and that makes my thinking ever so simple. And again, that is to do with the sovereign mentality. So I clearly hadn't quite seen the full potential of the sovereign mentality. I haven't quite seen it, so now I can see it. It's faith. It's also faith. You have to have faith that if people are sovereign, we can trust them to do the right thing and it will all work. We don't need to create any arbitrary groups to organise them. We don't need to do that. Now again, this system Entify could, if people really wanted to create a little cooperative, they could use this system to do it, but it's up to everyone. Whatever they want to do, they could do with it. So it's a tool for the sovereigns. This system, the Sovereign Digital Network, so that's what we're going to call it, and I think we might call it the Self-Sovereign Digital Network. So again, I'm trying to think about how to summarise it, what to even call it, We've got this very powerful technology we're sitting on, and we've spent a couple of years now working it out and trying to think about what to do with it, how to use it. So maybe that's it. Maybe we're calling it Entify is a Self-Sovereign Digital Network. And then we can use that, sovereigns can use that to do whatever they want to do. But it makes it ever so simple. All we have to do is guarantee individual sovereigns and then let them get on with it. That's it. And there's another story I heard, and I think it might have been Poland, one of these European countries where I think the government went bankrupt. There was no government for a while. And of course everyone thought that the country would go to chaos. But nothing happened. There was no government, and all the people just got on and helped each other. And it all worked. They worked perfectly fine. I think they had 6 months or a year without government. Now, I wish I remember the story in detail. I think it was before or after the Second World War. But anyway, it proved the point, and then the government realised, oh dear, everyone is getting on without us. So they had to quickly, get back into power, do something to create a government and get in control, because everyone was getting on and didn't need the government. So it is true, what Sovereign Pete was saying, it's true. People will just get on and look after each other, and we've got to have that faith. Well, I've got to have that faith when we build this system. And another very important thing I learned from Sovereign Pete in that discussion is towards the end of it. So I was asking him an esoteric question because I've been contemplating this. And I contemplate metaphysics. If you listen to my channel, that's what I do. I talk about metaphysics. I talk about physics and metaphysics and the human body, how we move it and use it. And this blockchain excites me so much because to me this is metaphysics. Mathematics is metaphysics, and it's ultimate. It's a universal, permanent, indisputable truth. And we're using that to build a system. So is that system, could we even class this system, Entify, as being man-made? Did we make it? Can we even claim it? So I've been contemplating this and wondering about it. And so I asked him the question in my own way. And he's basically said, well, no, there is no authority higher than man. And what he said was this. It's a great saying. He said, the only fear that the gods have is the will of man. Something like that. I love it. Absolutely correct. And I've said this in my lectures as well. So I do know this. I've said it in my lectures. I've said, the spirit, even the spirit, the ultimate consciousness, or God, if you like, we can accept its guidance. But we don't have to follow it. We don't have to follow it. We're still sovereign. We are sovereign even next to so-called God. So, and it's true. It has to be the case, because if the will of Spirit were enforced upon us, then there would be no evil. But there is evil. That means if there is evil, it means we still have a choice not to follow the natural law, not to follow the guidance of Spirit. That means we are sovereign. Sovereign means we've still got the ability to do evil if we really want to. We have to accept that. But you also got to know if you're going to do evil, the other sovereigns won't like it, and you've got to go up against them. They're going to stop you. But the great cosmos is not there to stop you. Now, there's another way I could tell you about this, another way I thought about this. It's like a parent and a child. So we're children. If you like the idea of God, God is the father or the mother, however you like it. And we are the children of God. And as a child, of course, maybe we are not sovereign. Children are not yet sovereign. They need looking after. So as a child of God, then maybe we could say, yeah, God is an authority over us. But what happens when we grow up? When we grow up to be a man or a woman, now you're no longer under the jurisdiction of your parents. You've grown up now. Now I don't have to do what my father says. I don't have to do it. Now I'm on an equal standing to my father. My father and I and my mother and I are on an equal standing. We're now equal, both sovereigns. And they can't tell me what to do either. So the main problem we got in this world is none of us have grown up yet. And I've mentioned this in some of my lectures, and I'm planning to do a whole talk about this. But it's true, we've all suffered from this. I've suffered from this in my life. We all have. You see, in the old days, you would have a coming of age ceremony. And the tribe, the group, will know that you've come of age. You do some very difficult thing, and when you get through it, they all say, well done, now you're a man, or now you're a woman, you've grown up. And they all look at you differently. You've become sovereign. And in the modern world, we've got none of this. There's no coming of age ceremony. So none of us have grown up. We're all still toddlers, really. We're all still toddlers. And the government, the system, the matrix is treating us like children. They see us as unruly children. We're not sovereigns. The government is the sovereign. So the answer is we've got to grow up. And myself included. And that's the key. If we can all grow up, we'll be responsible, and that is the foundation of everything. That's the foundation of building a better world. We all, as individuals, have to be responsible for ourselves, and then once we've done that, we can be responsible for just a bit of space around us. Like we are custodians on this earth. And Sovereign Pete was talking about that. He will look after the street in front of his house. Now, to me, that tells him he's got quite far in his sovereign mentality. He's got his house in order, he's looking after that, and he's doing that so well, he can even stretch out now and do something for the street in front. So, to me, that's a very good example of what to do. And I'm trying to follow that example. That's what I'm trying to do. So I've got to be clear. I talk about this stuff, but I don't class myself as a master. And I barely even would say that I'm a sovereign, except in the universal sense, because this is a study, this is a practice. You increase your level of mastery, you're increasing your level of sovereignty as you go along. You've got to be growing, you've got to be learning. And that's what I'm trying to do, learn. And when I saw Sovereign Pete, I realised he's got some very important knowledge, and I've got to learn it. But I also realised he's a very integral person. The moment I saw him, I realised this guy knows, and this guy has got a good integrity. So that means what he's talking about honestly, and it's important. And what he said resonates with my logical mind and my heart. Okay, and this is true. Let's get on and study this, work out what it is. So this project requires growth, it requires learning, and it requires a team. We need a lot of clever thinkers to work on this. And as I said, the long goal is to build our own blockchain from scratch. And at the moment, I think I'm the only one that can see this potential, because the potential is there's a problem in blockchain. It's called the blockchain trilemma. A big problem in serious thinkers, and I think we've solved this problem, the blockchain trilemma, but I will talk about this in another video very, very soon. So for now, I think we're working forward on this project. I'm thinking about writing some documentation to explain it in a bit more detail, and clarify what it is, because that's the big problem in my mind. I'm trying to clarify what this is, because it could be so many different things. But in the beginning, let's be clear, in the beginning it's going to be a digital, well, it's going to be a chat network, a communication, so like WhatsApp, we can all talk to each other, but it will be through this decentralized communication, and it will be private and decentralized, but it will also be hybrid, so you can use the chat network on the existing internet together with this radio mesh network. And at the same time, you'll have this card. We'll need the card because that is the proof of life. It only works because you've got this card. It proves that every user is a real living man or woman. So you have to have it. That's what makes this thing so special. Without the card, it's lost its potency. It's putting these three technologies together that secures it, and that makes it infallible. And it's just like Sovereign Pete was saying in his talk. He sees you need three things to make this secure. You need the blockchain, the card that connects to the blockchain. Then you need the paperwork created by the person, the man or the woman, and you need the real living man and woman together with that. And the card, the way I'm saying it, the card actually links the real man or woman to the paperwork. That's the way I would explain it. The card links the real man or the real woman to the paperwork they created, because they control the card. It has to be a living man or woman that touches the card, does something with it. So that's what ensures it is a real living man or woman. So that we can have pretty quickly. And this card will also be a crypto wallet. It will be an offline hardware wallet. So you can get these, if you don't know, there's a thing called a Trezor, a company, and a Ledger. You have a little offline wallet. It's a USB stick. You plug it into the side of your computer, and you can store your crypto on that offline. So it makes it very, very secure. But our card, this Entify card, will be even more secure. It's even more secure than a Trezor or a Ledger or all the other hardware wallets. And it's wireless. It will be a wireless offline hardware wallet. So that's what we've got in the very, very beginning. And from that, we can start building up, step by step. And the next thing we might do is launch our own token. Again, that's why I wanted to chat with Pete about that, because I've had so many ideas how we could create a token and do something different with it. So I'm open to any suggestions. But I think that will come down the line. Again, I'm thinking ahead, 10 steps ahead at any given point, but we're not quite there yet. So I think there's some very important lessons to be learnt for me, and I wanted to share some of those right now. And as I said, I'm going to now, after making this video, I will look through the comments and try to answer those comments on them. But if necessary, I'll make another video talking about the comments. And there'll be another video coming soon where I'll talk about this blockchain trilemma, because this is the really biggest problem, and it's the most significant problem with blockchain itself. And we have solved it, or the way I see it, we have solved the biggest problem in blockchain. And that is the actual greatest achievement of this system. Because blockchain is such an important development. I regard it as one of the highest developments of civilization, but it's not quite there yet. With this, we could take it there. So it would be a very significant development. And that could change, that would change the whole game, the whole crypto space could change it. So I'll talk about that. And I'm also planning another interview with Nicholas, who's the inventor, so that will be another good one, where we can actually go into the nitty-gritty of how this works. Because at the moment, I'm just talking about it quite abstract. We've got this and we can do this. Well, why does it work? How does it work? And so we'll actually need to prove why this is so good. So that talk, again, that interview will be coming very, very soon. So thank you so much again for listening to this. And if you haven't seen that interview, please do go back and watch it. I'll leave the links below and at the end of this video here as well. So thanks again so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in any of these other videos here.